after that 30 years, they can go back to regular, excuse me, let me finish, okay? After that 30 years, they can go back to regular priced units, correct?
Well, that goes to the extension of controls that we spoke about. So they have the ability to extend that deed to keep it under the affordable housing, or they can choose to not extend the controls.
Okay, so if they don't extend the controls, then we have to put in more around low housing to make up for the ones they don't extend the controls for, correct?
Depending on what our number is, not necessarily. We just lose that bonus credit.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes. All right. Now, on that note as well, I mean, we have made contributions to other towns to satisfy our application or to
Can't
get
do
credit
that
for-
anymore. You
Right.
can't
I
do that.
realize that, and I think he said, I'm not sure if I heard this correctly, that those contributions are now moot. They have no value whatsoever.
No, not at all. Not
All
at
right.
all.
Can you explain to me how that affects our numbers as well? The
It
contributions that we
doesn't.
made.
Anything that's happened in the past is not going to affect our future obligation.
So-
Whatever our obligation is going forward has nothing to do with what we've done in the past. The only benefit we get from having those extension of controls is we can use those credits. Let's say we have 100 units that are going to extend their deeds. We'll get that 100. So if our number is 300, we get 100 from the ones that we've done in the past that
Okay.
haven't expired.
Right.
So that reduces our number then down to 200.
Okay.
Okay?
So there are credits there.
Absolutely.
Crown,
Yes.
your time is up, thank you.
Oh, thanks.
I got my stop pad over there, I got the watch
I
on.
give you a little extra time.
Gave you a little extra time?
You're being generous,
Oh,
yeah.
all right, thanks. Okay.
Thank you.
I just want to remind you, please look at your environmental resource inventory, because I
Got
do
it.
think that will have some bearing on
It's
it.
been-
Absolutely,
Been
absolutely. Anybody else?
J and LO 18 Ladley Drive. So if development has nothing to do with it, or using up lands to build houses, luxury houses, has nothing to do with it, why did the Bell Works plan involve them having to contribute to this?
That was part of the agreement that was struck.
Why would it be relevant?
What's that?
Why would it be relevant if
The township standing ordinance.
I'm just glad you're here.
The township's ordinance right now, the affordable housing contribution.
Yeah, but why would Bell Works have to be part of it? So Bell Works theoretically used up a lot of land, built developments there, Toll Brothers and everything. Why would the agreement with Bell Works involve them having to do COA contribution?
I think you're saying it's part of the ordinance that you have to. in
You
town.
have to what?
A lot for board time recovery.
I wasn't here at the time, KJ, but I think it was, since they were approved 225 homes.
Yeah.
20% would be about 45 homes, give or take one or two, depending on who did the calculation back then. So I assume that that's why that obligation is with the Bell Works project.
Okay, because that's what Mr. Hines was correcting what our organization put out, and we may not have specifically described it, but what we were saying is, as the housing count goes up, for typical housing, luxury housing, the
Right, so
obligation
that's-
goes up.
Well, I'm aware of what you wrote, and that's
Yeah.
really inaccurate, because COA is based on your available land, that's sewer. So they do the calculation. If Bell Works never happened and it was vacant today, it would still be a 400 unit.
Okay, so
Bell-
you're saying, what I was describing is a result of, what you were describing is a result of the town ordinance that has been in place? Okay, so we can clarify that. Thank you. Quick other thing. This is from my mother-in-law. 520 from Exxon down to...
Jay, it is important that you get the facts right. You do read your letters. Get them right. Ask Donna, ask the professionals, ask them. Just don't throw it out into space. That's how the fake news gets started. It was inaccurate. It was inaccurate.
While I realize you might be very sensitive to what we put out because of the wealth of accuracies we have put out and discoveries,
inaccurate.
excuse me, in the discoveries we've made over the past 3 years, quite relevant ones and vivid ones, this was a mischaracterization, and we'll clear it up. It's not fake news. We're not fake news at all, and that's why everyone here reads it.
Stay on point for me. Stay on point.
I'm trying. So, my mother-in-law, from Exxon down, that sidewalk with the greenery is a disaster on 520. It's overgrown, there's poison ivy, there's branches, it's,
Heading towards Cross Farms?
yeah, from Exxon down. So, that's funny, there's a beeper when I'm up here. So, who's in charge of that?
Which side of the road? The south side of 520?
So if you're heading east, On 512, if you're heading from Exxon to
So between
Cross Farm.
Candlelight and the Exxon station.
Yeah, who controls that? It's a mess.
The blacktop sidewalk that's there, there's a blacktop sidewalk, was built by the county about 10 years ago. There's other sidewalk that's further down by Ladwood and Candlelight, I think.
I'm just talking the land strip between the sidewalk and, let's say, the people's
Oh, not
property.
the
It's
sidewalk?
all over, no, not the sidewalk, it's all overgrown, it's a mess.
So we'll have DPW.
Okay. And the
That's
five,
that's a county.
It's a
that's
county road.
road.
Well, I'll have Victor call the county.
Yeah.
okay. And Don, I know I'm out of time, but
You gotta keep going anyway.
Middletown Road paving, is there any
Yes,
update?
we're gonna be, the engineer will be providing, the specs that will go out to bid, and that should be done either the end of the summer or in October.
Okay, because we did hear October last time, I know there were weather
Yeah,
issues,
yeah,
but.
it's coming
Okay.
along.
Okay, thank you.
It's capital just got approved.
Thank you. Anybody else? Sir.
Hi, Gene Weber, 4 Duncan Drive. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I've come for an update on the ad hoc recreation committee. And first of all, I'd like to applaud you all for putting this together. I think it's a great idea. I think the township really needs a complete evaluation of the recreation needs of the town and see what we need to do. And it's great that you have brought in professionals to kind of lead the effort. And so I also think it's great that you stated that this would be a transparent, open process and, for the public observation. So I understand you've had the first meeting of the ad hoc committee, so I was hoping maybe we could get an update, perhaps, is there a meeting schedule as well? And, it's going to be open to the public. I think I heard it was. And so are you going to post the date somewhere?
So that they didn't have a meeting, they're scheduling a couple more. We'll probably have an update at our July meeting. We hope we have a couple more meetings in there, and the meetings are not public meetings, they're just meetings amongst the committee and our professionals. But the committee will get an update from the engineering firm, and we probably will have that update available for everyone in the July meeting.
In the township committee meeting?
Yes.
You'll have an update for the town on the project. So the meetings, because I heard that they were going to be open for observation, that people could come in and listen to them. That's not accurate?
So I think what you may be referring to is we're going to have public information sessions. So as they come up with data, they're going to share it with the township committee and the public. So they're going to come here and present their findings so they can be shared and viewed amongst all the residents. Now, this is a multi-step process. One, the ad hoc committee is putting together kind of the outline of what this project is taking on. Then the engineering, the planner is going out to a third party who's going to survey the residents. So everyone's going to have input that wants to into what the needs are. And I guess it's kind of like what Mr. Broberg and Tim have been doing for years for the township committee, right? He's providing guidance on our infrastructure and roads, right? What roads need to be done, what roads need to be repaired. This is kind of a similar process to, right, Donna, recreation?
Yeah, and also, Mayor, we'll be having public meetings that they'll be scheduling probably towards the end of the summer. That will be noticed, and we'll probably have the senior center. So that'll be another public meeting that everyone can come in and give their feedback. There'll also be an online survey that's being developed by these committees that will be available to all the residents.
Okay, thank you very much.
Chris, you come up next after him.
Pradeep Chanji, 38 Macalisa. The core requirement, it's to the audience, and I am sure to everyone, it's very nebulous. One never knows what the main drivers are.
You're referring to what?
How the core requirement is
COA.
determined.
Oh, you from the COA?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we just got recreation? I want to make sure we're talking recreation.
Yeah, I'm back to COA, sorry. So, I'm just sitting here and listening, and I'm saying, once we know what drives these requirements, we can plan for our future, because obviously, a lot of this is undesirable. So, do we know what are the main drivers? Like in everything, there's the 80-20 rule, right? What are the main drivers that determine the number? Or is it still sort of one big nebulous through the court system kind of thing?
So, Don, maybe you can give the resident a little history as to what the leading municipalities did to try to drive a number. And then the numbers that came out from
Could you speak up, please?
the fair share housing folks, so you understand the process of the vote.
This is more than a 3-minute conversation.
Yeah.
So I'll try, and I'd be happy if you want to come to my office to really go through this. It's very
Sure.
complicated, but basically, there's many ways that the different entities look at this. Fair share wants a lot of affordable housing. There's the other side that doesn't. So what the process has become is they look at a lot of different factors that we have spoken about this evening. So in our instance, you could take an aerial shot of our town and see all this green space. Fair share is going to see that and say, oh, we can build on all these parcels of green space. Well, that's not true because we have no SOAR in our instance. So that's kind of the benefit. But then there's the demographic aspect of it they're going to look at. How many affordable houses is already in the community? What's the median income and other issues like that. The other thing that these organizations look at is then the history of the community. So for the inclusionary housing, how much have you done that in the past? So if you go to their website, they have this FAQ sheet that kind of goes through all of it, but it's a very nebulous process. You're correct. There's really no right or wrong. And what you're saying is, what can we do in the future to have this not happen? There's really not a good answer. Because fair share every year, when they do this, they're going to find a way to say you need to make more. So in our instance, with our 400 or about 400 number, I think we're very fortunate because our surrounding communities are getting thousands and 800. They're going to have a tough time. I think with our number, with the properties we already have in place, with the extension of controls, I think that the impact to the town won't be that great with new units in here in this round.
Maybe I should just come to your office.
Yeah.
I think you can reduce everything down generally.
I would block
like
off
80-20.
a couple hours.
Well, in almost all cases that I've looked at, and it's just a rule of nature, you have 80-20 works. There's like 20% of the reasons drive everything. And you don't have to worry about all the little nuances.
Right.
Anyway, I'll sit down.
Thank you.
Shall I have a visit?
I'll tell you my theory off the record.
All right. Yes, come on.
Hi, Stephanie Maglino,
Could you get a little closer, please?
Stephanie Maglino, 6 Country View Road. A couple of things I just wanted to talk about. Has anybody brought to the attention on Van Schoik Road coming down past Potter's, when you make a left onto Galloping Hill, there's an extremely deep groove when you're going into the middle lane that actually, as you're going down the hill, your car has no choice but to hit that groove, and your car, okay, it's bad. And I, being an experienced driver,
That's county
almost
road
50,
too, right? That's county road.
it's really, really bad, and there's going to be an accident because here you are coming 45 miles down the hill. You have people on your tail. You have people coming towards you, and it's scary. So
We'll get to the county.
Okay. So that was my first thing. My second thing is I live on Country View Road, which Mr. Potter from Potter's Farm and myself share a property line, and I'm understanding that Mr. Potter is under contract, and I wanted to know what the intentions are to be built there.
It's not,
We have no
it's
idea.
not come in front of the town for approval. We are not approving it.
So it's not under contract?
We don't
That
know
would
that.
have to do with us. That'd be a private transaction between a buyer and a seller.
Okay, so you're telling me that there's no discussions whatsoever with Potter's Farms being co-op opportunity?
So,
As I mentioned earlier, the township is looking townwide and making various considerations with respect to COA. As I said, the township's not at liberty to discuss any specific sites.
Okay. I just want to express a couple of my concerns if that site is being considered for COA and you're not at
You're welcome to
liberty.
comment.
Yeah, if you're not at liberty to be forthcoming with that.
That's not what I just want to, for the record, that's really not what's going on here. The township is in active litigation. The township
Right.
is sued. The
Right.
township can't comment. It's not
Okay.
that they don't want to comment.
Okay.
They can't comment.
So being that I share the property line with Potter's Farm, I'm at the dead-end street. So it's my understanding that that property is zoned for 12, I believe it's 12 one-acre parcels with single-family homes on it, and possible COA homes as well. So with that, just keeping in mind, my concerns are that Country View Road is not going to be opened up into that development if that development occurs. That's going to create an extreme, it's going to put us at more stress of robberies in that development than we're already under. That development is top development to hit right off the Parkway. You put open up that road, you might as well hang all of our door keys, all of our house keys on a hook right off the Parkway and say, take your pick, because that's just gonna
So
increase
Stephanie, your
robberies.
concern is that the dead-end street right now
That's
would be
one of my
a,
A throughway.
a throughway.
A cut through, yes. So that's a big concern. Obviously, a very big concern of mine is I do not feel that that is an appropriate place for COA, okay? You want to put single-family homes there that it's zoned for, by all means, listen, Mr. Potter's is not going to be there forever. It's a beautiful welcome to Holmdel when you get off the Parkway. It should stay welcome to Holmdel when you get off the Parkway. It shouldn't be welcome to Holmdel, here's our COA land. So that is a concern. And the other thing that I'm thinking of, we have Bayshore greenhouses that's sitting in the middle of North Beer Street, that there's maybe 1 or 2 residential homes that are going to be affected by using the Bayshore greenhouse land parcel as a COA opportunity. That to me, I mean, I'm sure, listen, I'm just a Holmdel resident, but that to me seems like it would be the perfect place. No?
This is a one-way conversation.
All right, I'm just telling you, dial back, I think that's a good opportunity for you. Because then you will have very limited public opposition coming from you, as opposed to Country View Association and everybody else coming out and being up in arms because Potter's is going to be a COA place of living. So I do ask you to please keep, my concerns in your best interest while developing the Holmdel COA. And just, for all of us, Potter's Farm is a beautiful, you got the animals, like I said, it's a welcome to Holmdel, and now we're gonna have welcome to Holmdel's COA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the public?
Mobley now, MOJ.
Seeing none, I'll close public portion. Motion? Motion? A second? Thanks for coming, everybody. Have a good night.